Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. In our lecture, we will try to solve some questions related with super circuit. All this lecture belong to circuit analysis course. Let's start with this question. Here we have the circuit. We have two independent voltage source and 5 resistance with different amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. Here, I put it all of these names, V1, V2, and V3, to can solve this question by use the super circuit way. I must know the node's name because I will use it to cancel this question. For example, I will start from V1 and after that from V2, like the ordinary lecture, previous lecture when I was talking about loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, something like that. Here, we will start from V1. V1 plus V1, 2, that's mean here, will be V1 minus V2 divided on 13 ohm, equal VS1, and from Ohm law will be I1 R1 like that. I12 equal I1 minus I2 dot R2 equal 33 volts, IVS1. And after that, to simplify this equation, this will be equation number 1, or A, 14A1 minus 13I2 equal 33 volts. Now, from V2, this V2 will be V2 plus V21, V21, that's mean V2 minus V1. And from Ohm law, from Ohm law, V equal IR. Now, to simplify this equation again, like the previous one, will be 2I2 plus I2 minus I1 dot 13 ohm equal minus I2 minus I3 4 ohm equal minus V2 3, V2 and 3 from this way. That's mean V2, and after that with V21, the last one will equal V2 3, like that. We can directly put plus V2 3 or equal minus V2 3 because increasing from negatively terminal to positively. At first will be minus 13I1 plus 19I2 minus 4I3 equals 0. After simplified all of this. Now V3 equal at V3, known V3, V3 plus V32 plus VS2. V3, V3, 2, V3 at first, and after that V3, 2. The last one plus VS2, 10 volts. From Ohm law will be like that, I3 R3, I32 dot R32. I put it all of these numbers to make these equations be easier. Minus 10 volt, or we can say plus 10 volt, will be like that. Plus 6 plus 4, 10 I3 minus 4 I2 equal minus 10 volt. This equation C. Now we have A, B, C. Just to simplify or organize last equation again. Here I put a 0 because I don't have any value of I1, that means 0. And now to do something like that, X, Y, Z, that's mean X 14 minus 13 and 0, y minus 13 plus 19 minus 4, and the last one, and these the results will be x1 equal 7, 5 I2 ampere, and I3 equal I1 by use the calculator like the previous lectures. Now with another question, the figure below, calculate the current value by using circuit current method. Here we have the circuit. We have 3 different amount of resistance, and here dependent current source, independent voltage, and independent current source, sorry. And here we have many nodes. We can say A, B, C, and E. This just from me. The author didn't write any node's name. I put it that to make the solution be easier. Now let's start from C1, loop 1. From Kirchhoff voltage law, the total voltage will equal 0. VAB plus VS1 plus VCA from this side will equal 0. And from Ohm law, we'll simplify all of that by V equal IR, and VS1, didn't forget that, equal V1A. We can put this result here and simplify, calculate the for I1 with I1 will be 5I1 minus I3 equal minus VA1A. Add C2 and Kirchhoff voltage law, VBE minus VS2 minus VS1. Let's take a look about VC2. Here we have 2 independent source, voltage and current. Because that, we will deal with it by VBE, this VBE divided on, we're dealing with 2 ohms, and VS2 minus VS1, VS2 15 volts, VS1 equal, like I said before. Now let's complete. Let's modify 2I2 minus 2I3 minus V1A equal 15. This equation, we can say number 2 or B. At last, at C3, at loop 3. Here we have 3 resistance and independent current source. V3 plus V32 plus V31 equal 5IX. 5IX here, the dependent current value. And by using Ohm law will be minus I1 minus 2I2 plus 6I3 equal 5X. Here, and after that, from this equation, I3 minus I2 equal IX, from where we know it, from here. I3, because the slope direction from this B node to A, we can say from this direction, and I3 from this direction. Because the reverse directions, I put it minus I3 minus I2, instead I3 plus I2. I3 minus I2 equal IX, because the author said here IX. That's mean the total all of them. And I1 minus I2 equal 1 ampere from this node, I1 here and I2 here, from the reverse direction equal 1 ampere. That's mean I1 equal 1 plus I2. can say now we have 5 unknown elements. We will focus on the first 3 elements. After that will be easier to find the last 2. Here 5i1 minus i3 equal minus v1a, and here to simplify all of them, to can ignore, to can delete this unknown element to make the equation be easier to us will be like that. 5i1 plus 2i2 minus 3i3 equal 15. Can't say this equation AB. Now let's put the result of I1 here and calculate all of this again. Will be 7i2 minus 3i3 equal 10. Now we have 3 equations with 3 unknowns elements. We can use this way, like the previous example, and calculate. But I don't know what my mistake, because here by use this way, I1 equal 2 ampere, but the author said equal 1 ampere, but the other are right. IC2 equal 1 ampere, I3 equal minus 1, and after that, like we know, V1A equal minus 15 plus 2I2 minus I3. When we have all of these results, we can calculate it easier, equal minus 11 volts, and IX equal IX minus I2 equal minus 2 ampere. Another example here, we have the circuit. We have 3 different elements of resistance, IC1, IC2, IC3. Our current here, dependent voltage source and independent voltage source, dependent current source, voltage source, plus, minus instead of arrow. 1, 2, 3 ohms. And here we have 2 independent source, current source. From this figure, here we have 4 ampere. That's mean I1 minus I2 equal 4 ampere. I2 minus I3 equals 6 ampere. We have 3 loops. Let's work on it to solve it. V1 plus V2 plus V3 equal VS1, VS2. This is the total to all of that. V1 at this node or at loop 1, V2 plus V3 at this loop equal VS1, 14 volt plus 0.5 IX, VS2. Now, I1 plus 2I2 plus 3I3 minus 14 volts plus 0.5 IX equals 0. IX equal IC1 equal 1. I1 minus I2 equal 4 ampere. I2 equal 1. I1 minus 4A. And I2 minus I3 equals 6 ampere. We can say I1 minus 4. I1 4 ampere. Minus I3 equals 6 ampere, and to calculate all of them to be I1 minus I3 equals 10 ampere. I1, that's mean I1 equal 10 ampere plus I3. When I3 2 ampere, the author gives it to us. That's mean I1 equal 12 ampere, and IC2 equal I1 minus 4 ampere will be 8 ampere. Or we can use another way, the simple things. And after that, here we can say I1 minus I3 equal 10 ampere, and the previous equation 1.5 I1 plus 5 I3 equal 28. I here put it 0 because I use this a new way. Here we at first I1 results, I2 results. We will calculate on of these to can know the value of this triangle or lambda will be 1.551 minus 1 from this equation, 1.5 here, 1 here, and I3 I1, I3, 5 here, and -1 here. The result will be 1.5 dot -1 minus 5.1 will be minus 6.5. And after that, let's calculate the lambda one will be the result dot I3. The result 28 here, 10 here, and I3 result 5 and 1 here, 5 and sorry, and -1. The result will be minus 78. Delta 2 will be I1 dot result, I1 1.51, result 2.810 to be minus 13. Now let's calculate I1 equal delta 1 divided on delta, minus 78 divided on minus 60.5 equal 12 ampere. And here delta 2 divided on delta equal 2 ampere, and I2 equal 6 plus I3 or IC3, the same thing, equal 8 ampere. The last one here is I put it these numbers. The author didn't give it to us to make the solution be easier, or we can say loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, like you want. Write the circuit sense voltage equation by starting from node 1 and by using Ohm's law, V equal IR, will be like that. V1 divided on 2 ampere, and V1 minus 10 volt divided on 4 ohm, plus V1 minus V2 divided on 12 ohm equals 0. To simplify this equation, dot 12 to be like that, and after that simplified to be 10 V1 minus V2 equal 13 volt. Now from node number 2, V2 divided on 3 ampere, this V2 divided on 3 ampere, and V2 minus, where is the V2? V2 divided on 3 ampere plus V2 plus 20 volt divided on 6 ampere. Let me explain that. Here increasing the current increasing from negatively terminal to positively terminal, because that I put it plus. V2 plus 20 volt divided on 6 ohm plus V2 minus V1, V2 minus V1 divided on 12 ampere equals 0. To simplify to be minus V1 plus 7 V2 equal minus 14, and delta equal here we can say X dot Y or I1 I2 or V1 V2. Here we won't calculate V1 and V2 because that we put it, we won't calculate the voltage here because we put it V1 V2. Delta equal X1 or element 1 dot element 2 to be like that equal 69, and delta 1 equal result dot element 2 or V2 to be like that equal 170, and the triangle 2 equal or delta 2 equal V2 dot result to be like that equal minus 370, V1 equal delta 1 divided on delta, the V2 equal delta 2 divided on delta to make the result be like that. Thank you so much. Our lecture is done. Have a good day. See you in the next lecture.